Hello. All right. I want to try to make this video fairly quickly, but we'll see. I've tried to make quick videos before and they end up being like an hour. But I wanted to make a quick video about what we are using for our homeschool curriculum for the rest of my son's first grade year. So a couple videos back, I talked about how my son started his first grade year at a Montessori school. And I was working at that same school. And by the end of November, kind of beginning of December, we knew that it really wasn't long-term going to be a good fit for us. And we just decided, we left amicably. It was all good. Everything was fine. We've even been back a couple times just to either say hi or pick something up. So it's been fine, but it wasn't a good fit for us. And so we decided at the beginning of this year to return to homeschool, or I'm sorry, at the end of 2021, because we left the school, the last day before Christmas break was our last day. Anyway, for both my son and I. But we decided to go back to homeschool, hopefully for the long haul this time around. And we decided to do this all-in-one homeschool, easy peasy, all-in-one homeschool program. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's actually a totally legit free homeschool program, by the way, if you're looking into homeschool and on a budget. It is a good program. Actually, the woman who started it is from Pennsylvania, I believe, which is one of the strictest states for homeschool regulations. And she made it to where it would be up to standard in her own state. So it is... It's definitely a legit program. However, we did it pretty consistently for almost 2 weeks, and then just kind of, it was more on screen than I was expecting. So we decided to kind of nix that. But I loved their reading program, and their writing program, which is down here, has also been very good. So we decided to stick with these aspects of the program and maybe every now and then pop in and do some other aspects of the program. The last 2 months for us, let's see, where are we at? We're almost at the end of March now, which is crazy. I think today's the 20th. It's a Sunday. Let's see, we're 2 weeks into Lent as Orthodox Christians. And that we knew we weren't going to do any homeschool for a clean week, but then last week also ended up being, I think we did 1 or 2 reading lessons. It's been very hit or miss with us with homeschool for a while, for the last month and a half, just trying to find our groove, trying to find out what works, trying to figure out all the nonsense, like what curriculum style is really going to work for us. And at the end of the day, I know it's kind of a bad word in some homeschool communities, but I think we're just a workbook family. I think it's the easiest thing mentally. I love Charlotte Mason. I love classical. I love Waldorf. I like elements of those things in terms of lifestyle, and in terms of what we care about and all of that. But in terms of the actual schoolwork, at the end of the day, give me a book that we can work through from page 1 to page 30. You know what I mean? And honestly, I think that's what works best for my son too. There's that sense of completion, that sense of just you're going at your own pace, but you're also mastering, and that's just what we want to stick with. So especially this last week, I did a lot of homeschool soul searching, if you will, and really just came to the conclusion that what's most important to me and to my husband as well, but just for me as the homeschool teacher, what's most important to me is that my son, of course, his faith and relationship with the Lord and the church, that's the number one most important thing. But when it comes to academics, the most important thing to me, honestly, my husband and I have always felt was we wanted my son to learn the basics, and to be well educated, but also in the event that we ever could no longer homeschool, because that's just the reality of life sometimes, is things happen, something could happen to my husband or to our finances, and I might have to go back to work, and my son would have to go back to school. We've always said what was most important to us was that our son was either at grade level, at or slightly above grade level. so that in the event he ever had to, go back to school, whether public or private, he would be where he needed to be. And so that academically is the most important thing to us. So with that being said, I decided this last week to go to Barnes & Noble and just purchase a few workbooks. And that's what we're going to do from here on out. And I'm really excited about it. My husband is on board with it. And my son is also equally looking forward to it as well, particularly for one of the books, which you'll see in a minute. But so I just want to show you, we're going to stick with the easy peasy writing and reading program. My son, when we started, and maybe I already mentioned this in the video, I can't remember now, but I'm all over the place anyway, so what does it matter? My son tested, when we first started out with easy peasy, my son tested into, they have some placement tests, and so for reading and writing, he tested into kindergarten level, which I was neither surprised nor concerned with. That's, to be expected. So he is in kindergarten level writing and reading, but he tested up into second grade math. So to me, that says, and I don't mean this in a negative way or anything like that, I mean it completely fine, he's average. Like, he's an average kid, right? He's right in the middle there. He's basically where he needs to be, in my opinion. He's there. So he's always been good with math, so it didn't surprise me that he tested a little bit above, but I'll get to the math in a second. So we're keeping with the easy peasy kindergarten writing and learning to read. These have been fantastic. Particularly this learning to read uses the McGuffey Eclectic Primer program, and it has just been one of the best things homeschool-wise I've ever done with my son. He's really, really growing with this, so I'm digging it. So that's what we're going to do for reading and writing. For math, I picked up the Spectrum Math grades 1 and 2. He tested into grade 2, like I said, on easy peasy. And even flipping through, I think that is closer to where he is. But looking through this, there are some things he has not done yet. And so I think we're going to actually go ahead and work through the first grade book and just see what he knows. I mean, if there's things at the beginning, we'll skip through it and work on what he doesn't know in this one. And then once we get to the grade 2 book, whether that's sooner or later, we'll go from front to back. But for this one, I wanted to at least start and kind of make sure we're where we need to be before I move on into this. He's been doing fine with the easy peasy math in level 2, but I still I don't know. I just want to make sure that, concepts aren't being missed and all that. Okay, so then this is the one he's really excited about. The super fun colossal workbook for Minecrafters, an unofficial activity book. So this one is for grades 1 and 2. He is stoked about this. He's looked through it a few times and is so excited. We all like Minecraft in our home. My husband and I have our own worlds as well. So we all enjoy Minecraft, but my son is like on board with this. So this covers math, reading, writing, STEM, and more. The more being there's a little social skills section at the beginning, and then there's like a games and puzzles section at the back. So otherwise it's pretty much the math, reading, writing, and STEM, and it's just fun, basic stuff. I don't know if I would call it a full curriculum as opposed to, I think it really is just more of a workbook, but it's great, and I think it's going to cover the stuff he needs to know, and it does align with the core standards. Somewhere it says that, I think. Somewhere? I could have sworn it said that somewhere. It doesn't really matter, but anyway. I do think sorry, I'm just reading it, but I do think it is... Oh, yeah, to meet and exceed academic standards. No, I thought it said something that it... oh, yeah, right here. So it is aligned with National Common Core standards for 1st and 2nd grade. So it's... And honestly, whether it's aligned with Common Core standards isn't super important to me necessarily, but at the same time, it's, knowing that it's at least, for math and reading, it'll help him be where he needs to be. That's what I'm going for. Anyway, so that's that. And then this is kind of going to be our main curriculum source. Now, this is a huge book, and it is not going to stay this way. I have got a mini cinch over there, so as soon as I finish this video, I'm actually going to take it apart. The pages are perforated in this, and what's really nice is each section, the start of each section has this cover looking thing, or this cover page, I guess, of sorts. And so I'm just going to take them out section by section and bind them with that so that they can be a little bit more manageable and accessible. Because, yeah, look at these. This is like the whole spelling section. It's like as thick as the math books. Anyway, so I'm definitely not going to keep them all in this. But this is grade 1 complete curriculum from Harcourt Family Learning. It covers reading, math, spelling, language arts, writing, and test prep, like standardized test prep. So it's just keeping him where he's at. We get to work through each one from front to back. And I think that'll just be really good for us. So we're all, me and my husband and my son, are excited for starting this all tomorrow officially. Then, of course, for catechism, we're going to continue reading through our children's Bible reader, which is a Byzantine style, Orthodox style, just children's Bible. And we're just reading through all the Bible stories. So that's what we're doing in the morning. So yeah, this is what, especially for Lent, the rest of Lent, there's still about 6 weeks left of Lent, 5 weeks left of Lent. This is what we're doing. And it kind of, even that looks like a big stack, but it's really the basics. It's catechism, reading, writing, and math. That's it. That is what we're focused on. The Minecraft book did have some science projects in the STEM section, and we'll do some of them. They're just kind of sciencey, artsy craft projects. And we'll do some of them maybe during Lent. We might hold off, though, until after Lent. We'll just see. There's a few that are more simple, but we're going to hold off on those on science. What was I saying? Science, social studies, and I guess just those ones. Science, social studies, fine arts, those kind of things. We're going to hold off on those a little bit until after Lent, just because it's Lent and we want to keep it somewhat simple. But I will say after Lent, I would like to, this looks like a lot, but we're actually, and I know we're not super far with where that bookmark is, but we actually are moving through it pretty quickly. We got through even just that pretty quickly. So I know it doesn't look like a lot, but I think we'll get through this within a couple months. And once we do, I want to start doing this. Now, this is just a read aloud type book, obviously, but it is, it's called The Law of God for Children. In Orthodoxy, there's another book called just The Law of God, and it really kind of covers, it's almost like a catechism style book, but it's something I want to go over with my son, and I'll see. I haven't read through it a ton yet, but I think we'll just do it little sections by section, and so it's a little bit more of our church's lessons too, and of course we learn about the feasts and the saints and things like that as we go. But this, I think I will eventually add in. But right now we're just keeping it Bible stories, kind of nice and basic. Eventually, when I go back into do history, this is one I know there are probably some mixed feelings about this, but I'm going to give it a try. It's more of a classical history approach, and so we're going to maybe start with this. It's very narrative style story of the world, so I think we'll look at that for history eventually, and then this will eventually maybe add in a bit for either morning time or science or whatever. Not for a full science curriculum, of course, but it's basically I can never say his name, Louis Giglio, I'm not sure, but he is a Protestant worship pastor, I think. But this is just 100 devotions about God and science. And so this is, so we'll look through that a little bit. And that's something we'll add in eventually too. And then this is also from Easy Peasy right here, this geography and culture. Social studies, beyond creative writing, which I just enjoy creative writing in any capacity. Geography, social studies, that's my favorite subject. So I'm always the most excited to teach geography and social studies, history, that kind of thing. So this is from Easy Peasy as well. And I really love the breakdown of a lot of some major countries and stuff, but also some, it's got Turkey in there. It's got, I think, Nigeria, Kenya. It's got it just breaks down a few additional countries rather than just the big ones you know about, I guess, or that you learn about. And I think we'll still use this a little bit for some things. This is actually, though, what I mainly want to use for our social studies once we do reintroduce it after Lent and kind of are in our groove, is the core knowledge. It's a free curriculum program. And I think for like the social studies, I want to say it goes from like kindergarten through 7th grade. Don't quote me on that. It might only be 5th or 6th. But anyway, I love it. We have the kindergarten ones. They also have some great science ones. And so I think for science, I will probably also do core knowledge, to be honest, because I think it's great. Like, honestly, I think it's thorough but simple, and I love it. So we will do the core knowledge for the rest of 1st grade, covering our social study stuff and science as well. I don't have any of the science things right now, but core knowledge is what we will use for those once we reintroduce them. So that's kind of what we're doing. It's very simple. It kind of looks like a lot, but especially for one 1st grade kid, but it's really not, in my opinion. I think it's just the right amount. It's good. It's diverse in that, if he's getting bored with something in here, we could do the Minecraft thing. And I don't know. I just think it'll be a really good fit for us. So I'm really excited. My son's really excited. I think this is going to be finally it for us in terms of figuring out what works for us homeschool wise. In a week, I could completely feel differently, but I don't think I will. I think this is really what's going to work best for our family. So I'm excited, and I just wanted to share that really quick, that is what we are doing for the rest of our 1st grade year. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.